There's a moment when a smell, wood smoke, wet grass, the perfume of someone you haven't seen in years, pulls you back into a time that no longer exists. For a few seconds, the present feels thinner than the memory. You know it's the past, but your brain doesn't treat it like a memory. It treats it like a map, like proof that you were safe once. And if you were safe once, maybe you can be again. This feeling has a name. We call it nostalgia, but its roots go back further than any word. Long before cities, before maps, before written history, early humans lived as small nomadic groups, moving across vast, unpredictable land. Every unfamiliar valley could hide danger. Every new territory meant unknown predators, unknown rivals, unknown risk. But there was one thing that consistently kept them alive: returning to known ground. The camp they'd slept in before, the river they'd already crossed safely, the place where last time nothing went wrong. Familiar territory wasn't just comfortable, it was evidence. Evidence that survival was possible there. And the brain, always scanning for patterns of safety, learned to hold on to that evidence tightly. This is where nostalgia begins, not as sentimentality, but as a survival algorithm. Psychologists call this self-continuity, the idea that nostalgia isn't really about missing the past, it's about proving to yourself that you are still the same person who once felt secure, loved, or whole. Neuroscience backs this up. Nostalgic memories activate the brain's default mode network, the same system responsible for self-reflection and identity. When you remember, you're not just watching an old film, you're rebuilding a felt sense of who you are. And there's something deeper hiding in this mechanism. Nostalgia acts as a buffer against existential anxiety. When the future feels uncertain, job loss, health scares, a world that seems to shift too fast, the brain reaches backward, not to escape, but to reassure. It's saying, you've survived uncertainty before. Look, here's the proof. This is why nostalgia rarely feels neutral. It feels warm, golden, almost exaggerated. The old neighborhood was never really that peaceful. That job was never really that simple. But the brain isn't lying to you exactly. It's editing, removing friction, keeping only what proves safety was once real. You can see this instinct everywhere today. Retro fashion returning decade after decade. Vinyl records outselling digital in certain markets. Old sitcoms replayed not for the jokes, but for the comfort of a familiar rhythm. Homesickness works the same way. An ache for a place not because it was perfect, but because it once meant safety. And this instinct doesn't stop at personal memory. It scales up to entire societies. Political movements built on the good old days tap into this same neural wiring, the deep human hunger to return to a time that felt more stable, more certain, more secure. Whether that time actually was safer is almost beside the point. The brain isn't asking for historical accuracy. It's asking for reassurance. So here's the reframe. Nostalgia doesn't lie to you. It exaggerates. It's not deception, it's emphasis. Like a warm filter placed over cold, complicated moments, amplifying the parts that once felt like safety. But it does this for a reason. Not to trap you in the past, but to remind you of something important. Security is not just a memory. It's a state your body has felt before, and if you felt it once, you are capable of feeling it again. That smell of wood smoke isn't pulling you backward. It's pointing forward, showing you what safety once looked like so you can recognize it when you build it again. This is Human Relics.